Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening. Today we collectively pause just for a moment to remember the men and women in uniform who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. For one couple in Hazard, it's not just a moment, it is most of their day. WYMT's Connor James shares their story.
Waving in the wind, the flag not only symbolizes our freedom, but it also solemnly reminds us of the heavy price hundreds of thousands paid to protect it. Which brings us here.
Yeah, we do High Street, yeah.
As the sun beat down Monday morning,
just this, them flags up.
Tim and Cindy Francis crossed town.
On this route, there's probably about 30. But if we put all routes up, there's over 250.
Simply planting these flags.
So we just keep it a-going. So we got one here. I'll go get a flag.
As part of the Lions Club, they do this multiple times a year. Usually there's a larger crowd here, though.
With COVID, we couldn't meet, we couldn't get things together, and so
this year, it's just us.
As Cindy drives from stop to stop throughout Hazard,
this one's in the ground.
It's a moment of solace as each flag brightens up the city. For this duo, the meaning behind the work is deeper. Tim's dad is a veteran, and Cindy's grandfather, 4 of her uncles, and a stepbrother all served. So to them, this isn't really work.
It's underneath the ivy. Sometimes they hide. Ugh. Sometimes you're a little short. His is easy.
As Cindy drives, Tim sets out most of the flags.
Yeah, and today's his birthday.
The nearly ceremonious trek does break for a little humor. And in the evening, they'll be back out here retiring these same flags until the next time.
Yeah, we'll eat in between. We'll grill out.
This action may seem small in the grand scheme of everything, but it's things like this that allow us to pause, to appreciate,
well, pride,
and to feel.
Yeah.
After all, that moment to pause and honor is what's rooted in this day. In Hazard, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
In all, there are about 250 flags the Lions Club usually sets out. They typically do this 6 times a year. They say it's just a small token of their appreciation for those who have served and a way to honor those who gave it all for this country. This Memorial Day looks a lot different at many cemeteries. Friday, Congressman Hal Rogers visited Mill Springs National Cemetery to pay his respects. For the first time since the mid-1800s, there was not a ceremony held there today. But Congressman Rogers says to keep the faith and remember to honor those who gave their all.
Memorial Day falls this year in the middle of this awful epidemic, this pandemic that has swept the world, but especially the U.S. But I want people to know that we've got to have faith, we got to keep a stiff upper lip, and we'll get through this. I like that old saying from the Bible, this too shall pass, and it will.
Congressman Rogers honored Sergeant Brent Wood, who is one of only 2 African-American Medal of Honor recipients from Kentucky and the only one from Pulaski County. You can also see a replay of my issues and answers that I did earlier this month with Congressman Rogers tonight at 7 o'clock.
Well, we're still seeing a few showers and storms this evening in some of our areas, but other than that, it's actually looking a little bit better than what we saw yesterday. But you can see here during those afternoon hours, we did see quite a few showers bubble up, especially towards our southern and western portions of the region. But now we're really just dealing with a little bit of these lighter showers. You can see our really only heavier spots is right there on kind of the line between Whitley County and Campbell County, and there's a little bit just into Wolfe County. But other than that, I think most of this is just some lighter showers now, but we are still under a flash flood warning. This is for Knox, Bell, and Whitley County. So if you live within Knox, Bell, or Whitley County, and is specifically really centered around the Trosper community, you are looking at a little bit of some high water issues there. So we have been seeing quite a bit of rain over the past couple of days, and they saw another round earlier today. So just take those normal precautions that you normally take if you do live in a flood prone zone. But other than that, Temperatures cooling down a little bit, but we're still on that warmer side. Temperatures anywhere from those mid 80s. You can see 87 over around Prestonsburg to about those upper 60s. You can see around 68, then down towards that Tennessee-Kentucky border. So it's actually a little bit of a range here, getting a little bit warmer as we go north. They saw a little bit more sunshine today, but we're actually kind of one of the warmer spots in the region. You can see we're in the 80s for the majority of us, but there's only over into our west, over at Louisville, they're in those 70s, and over to our east, in Roanoke, they're in those 70s as well. So we're actually a little bit warmer here in eastern Kentucky, but overall we are going to continue to see these showers and storms in the afternoon over the next several days, but we are going to start to see a little bit of a change here come next week. Steve?
Thank you, Brooke. Well, yesterday afternoon's heavy rain caused flash flooding and damage in several counties. In Leslie County, many people are also still recovering from the damage left behind by high water earlier this year. New at 6, WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke to one homeowner who says it was even worse this time around.
It's been over 30 years since it's been this bad.
Lois Valentine has lived in this home.
I'm 82-year-old now.
For more than 4 decades.
Garbage bins are gone, our mailboxes are gone.
Heavy rain Sunday night led to massive property damage right in front of her Leslie County home.
When I walked out, it was up halfway up my calves and my legs.
This bridge, Valentine's only way out, washed away.
I couldn't get out of my yard, and I still haven't tried it.
John Newell, District 4 magistrate, patches Valentine's driveway himself.
A lot of our crew is on vacation, so we kind of have a skeleton crew.
Working diligently.
One of the biggest things is making sure everybody's okay. And in this situation, no lives were taken, no injuries.
Neighbors unable to leave home.
You can go on up and out through another way, but traffic can't get through.
Some people were literally stranded.
Neighbors offering a helping hand.
One thing about Leslie County, positive thing is neighbors helping neighbors, people helping people. They see a need, they don't care, they jump in and help.
No matter what the circumstance. In Leslie County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Newell says around 30 homes had significant damage to their property. There was a lot of other damage reported, especially here in parts of eastern Perry County and over in Knott County as well. One person is dead and another is in critical condition after a shooting in Breathitt County. Deputies say it happened on Gross Fork Road in the War Creek community this morning. When they arrived, they found Sharon King dead with a gunshot wound to the head. Her live-in boyfriend, 50-year-old Bernard Banks, was found shot in the face but still alive. Deputies say Banks was suffering from stage 4 colon cancer and has been refusing treatment for the disease. We now know the identity of a man killed in a deadly Pike County crash late last week. It happened Friday morning on Kentucky 122 in the Millard community. The Pike County coroner says 27-year-old Dylan Price of Shelbyana died after the head-on collision. The other car had 4 people inside. 2 were taken to Pikeville Medical Center and then transferred on to UK Hospital in Lexington. At last check, they were in stable condition. Former First Lady of Kentucky and broadcasting pioneer Phyllis George was laid to rest today. She died earlier this month from a rare blood disorder. George wore a lot of hats in her life. She was Miss America, Kentucky's First Lady, and one of the first women to have a prominent role in televised sports when she was hired by CBS Sports in the 1970s. Her funeral was a private service at the state capitol, but it was streamed live on KET. Her daughter, Pamela Brown Wright, says nothing will ever defeat her mother's spirit.
Just 6 weeks ago, as she felt her body failing her, she said to me, "Pam, you know, I've always been a strong woman." And I said back to her, "I know, Mom, I know you are. I know you are." I believe her body's weaknesses, though, made her spirit even stronger, and that spirit lives on.
Instead of flowers, George's family asked for donations to help those struggling with rare blood diseases. It was a beautiful service in both word and song this afternoon at the Capitol. Tomorrow is the deadline to vote in Kentucky's primary election, which was delayed 1 month due to COVID-19. Last week, the governor and Secretary of State announced that Kentuckians who are registered to vote may now request mail-in ballots online. The deadline to request those ballots is June 15th. The election is Tuesday, June 23rd. Kentuckians may still vote in person if they wish, but there will be much fewer places to do that. We have links to register and how to request mail-in ballots on our website, WYMT.com. Just search for vote. Even though many events were canceled this Memorial Day, people still found a way to honor those who died for our country. Camp Nelson is known for having a large ceremony in Nicholasville to honor those who fought for our country. This year, they were unable to hold that ceremony, but Chelsea Jones takes us to Camp Nelson, where people were still able to pay tributes to loved ones.
Memorial Day was different this year at Camp Nelson National Cemetery. The annual ceremony honoring our veterans was canceled due to COVID-19.
The cemetery seems kind of lonely today. That's why we came out to make sure, one, we paid our respects to my parents, and two, we paid our respects to the rest of the people here who have given time to our country.
Well, even though there weren't as many people as normal, there were still quite a few people out this Memorial Day.
It's a beautiful day, and it's a nice opportunity to honor those who honored us before.
People I spoke with say it's still important to honor our service members even at such a difficult time. Some wore masks and stood a few feet apart as they looked on at graves.
Well, the ultimate sacrifice is with my nephew, Tony George. He was 35 years old, and he did Desert Storm, and there was another conflict in the Gulf, and he went to that too, and he survived one and not the other. And to let them know how much we appreciate what they do, because it's a sacrifice so we can have our freedom.
In Jessamine County, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
The VA has set up a website where you can honor your loved one by writing words of tribute on a veteran's page. The site contains a memorial page for each veteran and service member interred at a VA national cemetery.
Well, we've been seeing this rainy weather for a while now. Will it wrap up anytime soon? I'll have that answer coming up.
And as these warm temperatures continue, many Kentuckians are enjoying the outdoors while staying socially distant. We'll take you to Lake Cumberland, where marina owners say business is booming.